how many different ways is there to practice for deer and hog season? Let's see. There's the most common practice of shooting while standing. And while you're at it, you can turn and shoot like this. Another good way to practice is to shoot from the seated position. If you can't draw your bow back while in the seated position, you've probably got your bow set too high. You need to take the poundage off a little bit. Another good practice is to shoot long range. It's fun, but it's not real practical for hunting. You never want to shoot anything outside your comfort zone. Mine is about 30 yards. You'll need a rangefinder because the further out you shoot, the greater the drop on the arrow, so you'll need to be precise. This is fun to do, right? So I'm at 80 yards. That's about as max as I can go on my sights. So I'm going to shoot a couple of arrows. I got a waterlogged block target out there at 80 yards. Let's see what we can do at 80 yards. You'll need a lot of arrows. If you're like me, you'll lose a few. And here we go. You may want to shoot from an elevated position. Many times a deer walks right underneath your stand and forces you to shoot straight down. One of the facts of bow hunting is when you're hunting wild animals that they're always moving. You don't want to shoot your deer in a perfect scenario every time. This is a quartering away shot. What that means is that the deer's come into bow range and I'm sitting in my stand, and it has become suspicious that it's not in a safe environment, so it turns and starts to move away. Usually that'll be considered a quartering away shot. Your aim point would be different because you're not coming in square with the animal, you're coming in at an extreme angle. So you would shoot, actually this is the best scenario for a quick kill, where your arrow comes in at an angle, at a strong angle, and goes up into the vitals. You'll want to practice shooting quartering away shot with your 3D target, okay? This is usually a very practical application. The target is a little smaller and it's a little bit more difficult to make the shot, but if you can master this shot, you'll increase your chances killing your buck, okay? You'll also want to practice from out of your faithful old tree stand, even if it's a 1982 model of a worn and sweat climbing stand. First stand I ever owned. I still got it, still hunt out of it. And you want to practice out of your tree stand and always wear your safety harness when you're practicing. So I thought I'd take a minute now and just show you my setup. This is the same thing that I do my elk hunting with when I go out west. I go out west elk hunting. I've been on, I think I've been on 5 archery hunts and 2 gun hunts. This is my setup for archery, elk, and whitetail. It's a 60-pound Matthews helium bow. It's a pretty short axle to axle. I like this bow. It fits my stature. It's not too big and overwhelming. It's a light bow, and they made it pretty light. I've got the Trophy Ridge adjustable sight on here. I got an Apex quiver. And what I usually do when I'm in my stand, I have a bow hanger that screws into the tree and comes out, and I hang my quiver on that bow hanger. I usually don't shoot with my quiver attached to my bow. I know some guys do. I personally don't. I've got a quick tune rest. Okay, it's not a drop away rest. The arrow goes in at the top, and it's got a 3-point contact, and I like that setup. The arrow can't come off with the rest, and I like that. Of course, I've got the anti-vibration and arrows. I'm shooting Hunter Gold Tip 250. I think they're like a 300 grain arrow, but 250 means it's stiff, right? The 250 spine arrow is what I shoot. I like these arrows. I have a 100 grain brass insert in the end of the arrow, and then I screwed the broadhead into that. The broadhead that I'm shooting is a Woodsman. Oh, that's not a Woodsman. There's my Woodsman. It's a cut-on contact arrow, broadhead. It's 125 grains, so it puts 225 grains up front, which is it's a setup that I like. Shoots real well. These arrows stiff, they shoot really well, and they got a lot of punch to them. I don't hunt with light arrows for the sake of speed. I was watching or listening to a podcast. I listen to podcasts a lot, and I listen to the Hunt and Fish podcast with Taylor Willis. I also listen to Chasing Tails podcast. Another one I listen to is all of the Meat Eater podcasts. I like Bear Grease, and I like Hunt. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, Hunt and Collective is the one I listen to. And Ranella had a guy on there, Dr. Ashby, Ed Ashby, and he's a huge advocate for modern day archery and modern day arrow setups. You may want to give that podcast a listen if you're an archer. There are some changes coming in the archery world, and Dr. Ed Ashby is leading that change. We're talking about arrows that get complete pass through all the time, saying goodbye to mechanical broadheads, and yeah, if you're hunting with light arrows for speed and mechanical broadheads for cut radius, you might want to listen to that podcast. Okay, that's all I'll say about that. You hunt with whatever you want to, but I'm convinced that I need to hunt with a cut-on contact broadhead, razor sharp steel broadhead with a heavy arrow and a heavy front of center. So that's my setup. I use a Cobra release. I've got the same Cobra release, and I do love archery hunting because it gets you in the woods early in the season, allows you the opportunity to scout before gun season. But when muzzleloader season comes, I put up my bow and I hunt with a muzzleloader. When muzzleloader season is over, I put up my muzzleloader and I hunt with a rifle. So I'm all about hunting and getting out in the woods and enjoying what we have here. So I hope this video has helped you practice. Archery requires a lot of practice. I can still count on one hand the deer that I've killed with a bow. I think I've killed 6 or 8 hogs with my bow. Hogs just seem to be more plentiful, especially on the private land that I was hunting. I killed a lot of hogs. So that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.